We're surrounded by technology and machines that make our lives easier and worse at the same time. Before, we used to be able to simply spend time outside using our own imaginations, like when children used to run around the forest as if it was a magic castle. Now we simply sit there ignoring the forest and our imaginations for the mindless scrolling on the same device we seem to spend hours looking at. Although not all of it is bad, as we are now able to record memories and those can be looked back on, as well as being able to connect to people who aren't even near us anymore.
I was inspired to create this because of what I've seen before. It used to be when our families would head out with the dogs, they were our main attention. And now I see people who push away their dogs in favour of something on their phone. We are also stuck behind the camera most of the time, so in family photos and footage, the person recording is missing from the scene, and therefore it's like they weren't even there.
We asked a few different people their opinions on these issues.
What devices do you use and what do you use them for?
I use a range of devices, mostly my laptop and my phone. I use my laptop to research things for work or college or anything like that, or just to generally watch stupid videos. I use my phone for social media and calling and texting my other friends, so yeah, they're really mostly the only two things. Obviously Xbox and stuff like that as well, but gaming is a big part of my life, but other than that it's just mainly my phone, like technology wise.
So how long do you think you spend on each of these devices?
Oh gosh, I use my phone a lot because I have a long distance relationship, kind of, so we call a lot. But mainly I just use my laptop to watch YouTube videos, stuff like that, would help me sleep. And
On the topic of long distance, do you have any close friends as well online that you have never met before?
Yeah, I do. I actually do have a few range of close friends that I've met online. Obviously you also get the friends that you lose contact with over online because you can't see them. But yeah, I do have a few.
Do you believe that people are becoming too reliant on these devices?
I would say yes in social media terms, because you see like celebrities or something glued to their phones a lot, or they're always on their phones taking pictures of themselves, but not in the sense of some people just don't use their phones at all. But technology is a big part of living because we've become so advanced in it that sometimes we don't even need people to do our jobs anymore. It's all technology.
Finally, do you think a device has affected your life in either a positive or a negative way?
I think definitely both, because you always have positives and negatives in everything. It's the way the world works. But definitely more positive in the fact that I've learned more from the technology than the negatives, because I don't really like to think about the negative parts as much as I do the positive.
What devices do you use and what do you use them for?
I have my phone, my projector and my laptop, and I use my phone for communication, music, occasionally research, use my laptop for research, and my projector as a TV so I don't strain my eyes.
How long would you say you spend on these devices?
I mean, it depends on when I use them, what for. So my projector I only use at night, and my laptop I mainly use for my coursework and stuff, so probably about 3 hours for that, and then my phone a few hours out of the day to talk to people.
Do you believe that people are too reliant on these devices?
Yeah, 100%. Just because everything's on them now.
Do you think that any device has personally affected you, either negatively or positively?
Probably my phone, because it's always there and it has everything on it, so if I lose it I get really scared, which I think everyone else will relate to, because that's literally where everything is. But at least I can access news, talk to family, I can contact people when I need to, I can look online and find something that I need.
Do you have any long distance friends that you still consider close?
Yeah. All my friends that I have on social media I've met personally, because I make sure all my profiles are on private, and I only add people that I know, so then I can contact the people that I actually need to contact.
So what technology do you use and what exactly do you use it for?
I use my iPad mainly for video editing and communicating with friends, watching videos, and I use my computer mainly for university work and for similar sort of things in terms of entertainment purposes, and I play video games on my Switch.
Very much the same, honestly. Basically everything that Lewis said, but we replaced the iPad with my phone. I use that to communicate with people, be it local or through the internet and such, and I also use it to, I find it as a way to kind of like hide myself when I feel insecure in public. I'll just sort of hide behind the phone, and I might not be doing anything, I might literally just be staring at the screen, but it makes me feel a bit more safe. It looks like I'm occupied with something.
So how long would you say that you spend on your phone or any type of device? And if you're on like social media, if you're on any of those, how long would you spend on that?
Easily most of the day, probably till quite late at night.
Very much the same, to be honest. That is very much the world we live in now. If you're born after a certain point in time, yeah, you know, technology does dominate your life.
Has social media ever caused you any distress or any like problems?
Yeah, many times actually. Stuff like just general hate and bullying online, as well as literal takedowns and like problems associated with my work and communication issues and stuff like that. So many occasions.
Yeah, incredibly so. In terms of work and such, sometimes like programs won't work and they'll go down, or people will just, because they're behind a screen, they will like go way too far on, shall we say, letting their opinion be known. And that's another thing with text and such. You can't read the emotions behind a text, so like somehow the simple okay has become one of the most terrifying things in this modern world.
On the other hand, have you met any people online that you now consider your close friends, that you tell your life to, that you would gladly spend hours with despite never actually having met them in real life?
Yeah, I've met several absolutely amazing people through different communities and experiences online who I would definitely consider like close friends, and you know, we talk about each other's own real issues and stuff, and I view them as just as valid as a friend as anyone else.
Easily, yes. Because with the online realm, you can actively search for someone who will cater to your interests and dislikes, instead of just being thrown into an environment where you just have to sort of hope there's someone compatible. You can actively search for people like you, so not only is it easier to find friends online, but it's usually a lot more beneficial for both of you.
Do you believe that people are becoming too reliant on these devices? So when the Wi-Fi goes down, what exactly do you do? Like, so some people don't really do anything anymore, when before you'd go outside and play, but now we're too reliant on these devices. What do you think about that?
Oh, definitely. I think there's tons of issues and scenarios which we could face because of our reliance on technology. One of the biggest ones I would say is sort of parents' reliance on technology as a sort of entertainment sort of place for their children, because, well, it's a lot easier for parents to just pass their child their phone with YouTube on, and you never know where that's going to end up, sadly, and I definitely see the effects of that sort of reliance in the future. I feel like it's virtually impossible for us to cope if, say, the internet went offline, because everything functions through it.
Yeah, very much what Lewis just said here. There's been many instances of the site YouTube having the autoplay feature on, and children have just been left with Peppa Pig cartoons, which have then devolved into these horrible, messed up pieces of imagery that people have created to look like a Peppa Pig cartoon for clicks and quick cash grabs. And in terms of technology dominating our life, in a sense it does definitely do that, but you can look at it two different ways. When the Wi-Fi goes down, you could just sit around and wait and panic until you suddenly have access to everything, or you could sort of view it as an opportunity, like I do. Like when my Wi-Fi goes down, I will go back to things like books, I'll get out old toys, or anything that I used to do before the internet came around. So even though it could technically be worrying, because you could be working on something very very important that you need to get done, it can be seen as a bit of a refresher every now and then, but definitely our lives are very much dominated by technology and the online world.
So my final question is, do you believe that your life has been affected because of these technologies? Like, if you were to go on holiday, would you now record it? Or if you went to a concert, would you also record that with a camera or a mobile phone? Because you can, and it's quite easy to.
100%. Like, I feel that it's given me a creative outlet, and because of that, the way I view the real world, it has sort of changed significantly as well. So when I went to China, a lot of that was documenting photos I found interestingly for stuff that I've used online since, and I see my sort of career being strongly driven by it, as well as how I view the general population sort of reliance, I suppose.
In a sense, yes, and in a sense, no. I still view the world as, well, what it is, a world, but in terms of how the technological realm has definitely affected my life, it would definitely be, I think, for the better in a sense, even though it has made me look at the world a little bit less in a certain way of speaking, but I would say it has affected me for the better, not only giving me a creative outlet, but a way for, essentially, before the internet, I don't think I would have really known what I was really doing with my life, considering that it's shown me all of these different avenues and ways that you can make a career now in 2019 out of the internet and technology as a whole.
Because you've been able to record and document these things, have you ever looked back on it, and has it been stored away as a memory now, something that you can look back on and remember for?
So in some ways I would say I don't look back on some of the older stuff I posted fondly, but in the same way I really enjoy it as a sort of portal to the sort of simpler time and seeing how I've grown as a person. So in that respect I'm really grateful for the internet as an archive.
Very much so, yes. Although you can look back on everything you created in the past and see it as, I wasn't a fully developed human being yet, therefore I didn't know what I was doing and I should never have done this. It does show the beginnings of yourself and your interest in the technological world, if you were creating stuff for your own. And in terms of family holidays and taking pictures on a day out, it is nice to reminisce every now and then. I mean, why do you think people keep physical photo albums? It's very much the same, just now in a digital landscape. So although we might not do it now, definitely in years to come, I feel like we will look back on these memories as, things you can't put a price on.
I believe the digital age is affecting us a lot more than we realise. It can be from just small things to being outside with friends and... Hold on. I need to take this.